We spend the most time together. Like, it's not that me and my wife don't spend time together, but we've been married so long, it's like we don't talk like, I don't know if anyone's married here, but after 10 years, all that chatty shit goes away. You've said it all. You know what I mean? We're just in the zone. She says the same shit to me every night before she goes to bed. I'll be the last one up. She's like, I'm gonna get some sleep, Dave. Good night. All right, babe, we'll stay up and watch television. Good night. And she'll walk halfway up the steps. David? Don't eat the kids' lunch. And then she walks away. Well, the crazy shit is I don't even eat their lunch anymore. Back in the day, I used to eat that shit. You know how that goes. I might smoke some weed in the middle of the night and she'll leave neatly wrapped sandwiches all over the kitchen. I'm gonna eat it. What's the big deal? Why can't she just make another one in the morning? I mean, it's like, I got sons anyway. And sons love everything their dads do. My kids will be at school the next day, just look like, oh, Dad bit my sandwich. Oh, shit! You could trade that sandwich for something better. What I'm doing is adding value to their lunch. She doesn't understand these types of things. Anyway, she gets mad at me. Well, she's mad at me now because I got myself in trouble. I got myself extorted, which happens in this business. I come home from the road. There was a FedEx sitting on the kitchen table, and it was addressed to me, so I opened it. I don't know who delivered it. And there was a video cassette inside with a note written on it that said, "Gotcha." Oh, my God. Can you imagine? I freaked out. I tore the whole house apart. Trying to find the VCR. I hadn't seen a tape in like over a decade. And I watched the tape and it was awful. They got me. It was a tape of me. I was fucking a girl, okay? But it was from before I was married. But it was not a good look. And I felt sick to my stomach and I looked up at the clock and then I saw my wife was coming home in 10 minutes and I just panicked. I jerked off to the tape real fast and then and then I called the FBI. Much better. I mean, they didn't say they were going to catch him for sure, but they had the demeanor of some competent people that would catch him. So I didn't worry about it too much. And then not even a week later, 5 days later, I come home and there's another video cassette just sitting on my porch. As soon as I saw it, I just called the police like, they've done it again. You should probably look for a guy with bell bottoms on because I don't know who the fuck is sending tapes. And that second tape was the worst shit I'd ever seen in my life. It was awful. Career-ending bad. It was a tape of me jerking off to the tape a week earlier. I don't even know how they'd even get such a thing. I had to explain all of this to my wife. She was very mad. No thing in this world is as cold as a woman's cold shoulder. Because she was mad, but she wouldn't talk to me about it. She would just punish me in little ways. Make me do shit that I hate to do. Like pick the kids up from school, that's one thing she made me do. That's a hardship for me. I got one son that goes to a public school, and my brother goes to a private school. It's an experiment. I just want to see what's going to happen to him. But what's weird is my little son in private school, he's like my thuggy son, you know what I mean? I don't know where he get that from. He's not getting it from me. And he's definitely not getting it from that school. That school is it's a liberal school. It's the kind of school, there might be like 12 black students in the entire school. And I'm the only black parent. And none of the parents like me either. Not because I'm black, but just like they don't like how I roll. Because I've been showing up late all the time, and I'm like in a Porsche and I'm blasting music that they don't like. You know, the music be like, I'll beat the pussy up. And I pull into the parking lot. I might be smoking a cigarette with the kids in the car. Then I pull into like that handicap space. And then when I get out of the handicap space, they always want to say some passive-aggressive shit. Morning, Dave. Don't know if you noticed, but you actually parked in the handicap space. Huh? Yeah, you know what, Frank? I did notice. But who is this handicap guy we're all waiting on that never shows up? So I hate going over to that school. The only parents that are nice to me is a lesbian couple, Kate and Sarah. Actually, Kate hates my guts. Sarah knows that I'm black and she's half black, so she just understands me. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain it. Because I'll say shit and Kate's just too serious about being a lesbian. I'll be like, hey, Kate, hey, Sarah, you guys going to the father-son picnic next week? How's that going to work? And Kate will instantly be furious. But Sarah knows I'm fucking around, so she'll just say something cool. I don't know, Dave. Maybe me and Kate will flip for that shit. I said, bitch, you better save that coin toss because everybody knows you strapping on in that household. And then Kate will turn bright red, but Sarah just fist bump me like, you right, nigga? It's me. Huh? We're good friends. We're good friends. They invite me to stuff. They're like my only friends at the school. So imagine my surprise when I go to pick my son up after all this happens. And the teacher is waiting outside for me. She's just standing right there in the middle of the fucking handicap space. I knew something was wrong, so I rolled the window. We talked to you for a minute in the office. I said, no, fuck that. We got to talk right here. What's going on? I knew it was bad. Ibrahim had a fight. I said, a fight? Don't worry. Everyone's okay. I said, everyone. What happened? Well, that's it. We don't know what happened because he won't talk to anybody. All we know is that he punched Sarah Jr. in the face. I said, oh, no. Sarah's one of the only parents I'm not sure I can beat up in this school. Just then, Kate and Sarah pulled up to pick up their daughter, and then we all had to go into the office. And I was really worried because I didn't want them to kick me out of the school. And then they brought my son and he was crying. They brought him in like a prisoner. He was like, oh. I said, son, just stop crying, calm down. Do not look at these mean faces. I need you to look at my face. And I need you to tell me the truth, buddy. All right? Just tell me the truth. Is it true? Did you punch that girl, Sarah Jr., in the face? I was trying to give him a signal to lie, but he didn't pick up on it. And I was like... He wasn't paying attention. He said, yes, Daddy, I punched her face. I said, oh, my God. Why? Why would you do that? You're not supposed to put your hand... So gangster, it scared all the parents in the room. He was like, because she had it coming. I said, and everyone looked at me. I said, I did not teach you. I don't know where he got that from. I said, what does that mean, son? That is crazy talk. What does that mean? And then he just started crying like he was Tupac. These kids keep fucking with me. I told his teacher, I said, well, now wait a minute. This kid is a lot of things, but he's not a liar. And if he said they was fucking with him, they did something to him. Son, what's going on? What did they do to you? Oh, damn, I'm tired of this shit. It's been going on all week. I said, what's going on all week? He said, we said lunch, and that bitch bit my sandwich. I said, oh. He said, it's the fourth time this week. I'm tired of this sandwich biting bitch. I said, stop using that word. Let's go home. That's a quiet car ride home. We got to the house. He just ran right up to his room, slammed the door. His mother came downstairs. By then, she had heard about everything. She was looking at me like, oh, my. She said, you bit that goddamn sandwich, didn't you, Daddy? I said, I'm tired of you accusing me of shit. And I just ran out of the house, jumped in my car and drove off. Of course I bit that sandwich. But I knew that she was just really mad about that tape, so now she's gonna punish me about a fuck. corn and shit. Doritos, I think they're called. That's right. People only see the surface. They see the division in our foods. Just because I eat chicken and watermelon. They think that that's something wrong with me. Let me tell you something. If you don't like chicken or watermelon, something's wrong with you, motherfucker. There's something wrong with you. Where are all these people that don't like chicken and watermelon? I'm sick of hearing about how bad it is. It's great. I'm waiting for chicken to approach me to do a commercial, nigga. I'll do it for free, chicken. It's the least I can do. They make fun of black people for eating, what y'all eat? Beans, rice, corn. Listen, that's not a reason to hate a motherfucker, all right? It's funny, but it's not a reason to hate. The only reason these things are even an issue is because nobody knows what white people eat. You've been very good at keeping that shit a secret amongst yourselves. I study white people. You don't know that. I'm writing a paper on you. Not even for school, nigga, just to do it. Just doing independent research. I'm spending my money. That's why I'm working so hard. I follow you around grocery stores. They freak out. I just try to peek in the cart. They always say, get away from my cart, nigga. What are you looking at? Chicken and chitlets are over there. You must be lost. These are vegetables. I know what you drink. See how quiet I got? Grape juice. Surprise, motherfuckers, you didn't know I knew about grape juice, did you? Oh, don't play dumb with me. Look at what? A lot of black people don't have the privilege of knowing about grape juice because they have grape drink. It's not the same formula that you get. Ain't no vitamins in that shit. You might have one of your black friends over, Todd. If you care for a glass of grape juice. What? Nigga, what the fuck is juice? I want some grape drink, baby. Oh, it's purple. I don't think I know what grape drink is. What? That's some apple juice if you want. What the fuck is juice? I want some apple drink. Scream. Remember that commercial for Sunny Delight when all the kids run in from outside playing? They all run to the fridge. All right, I got some purple stuff, some Sunny D. As soon as you say Sunny D, all the kids go, yeah! Watch the black kid in the back. If you ever see that commercial, you look at that black kid, he'd be like, I want that purple stuff. That's drink, man. That is drink. They want drink. I want all of them vitamins, nigga. I want drink. Sugar, water, purple. That's the ingredient. Sugar, water, and of course, purple. Too fucking much. I got a lot of things to talk about tonight. First of all, I've stopped smoking weed. With black people, you didn't let me finish, motherfuckers. God damn. I'm sorry, black people, to break the news so publicly, but I can't smoke it anymore. The time I smoke weed with my black friends, all you talk about is your trials and tribulations. I'm sick of that shit. I got my own problems. It's a waste of weed. I'm smoking weed to run away from my problems, not take on yours. From now on, I smoke weed exclusively with white people. Calm down, motherfuckers. You win by default. We got good weed conversation. All white people talk about when they get high is other times that they got high. I can listen to that shit all night. Dude, remember Frank's last week? It's fucking smash, man. And catalogs everything they drink. 2 shots of Jaeger, tequila, 4 bong hits, man. Beer, cheeseburger. That shit is great. Only bad part is you cannot pass out around white people. Every time white dudes pass out around each other, they always do some borderline gay shit when the guy's asleep. Frank fell asleep, so he like stuck a carrot in his ass and put shaving cream on his balls. Like, why, motherfucker? Why would you do that to a friend of yours? He tries to get enough to stick around, you gonna put a carrot in his ass? Is that nice? I'll tell you right now, if I put...
That wouldn't be a good thing, to be honest. When Dave Chappelle says that he doesn't smoke weed with black people anymore, doesn't mean that he smoke with white people. I mean, when you're high in general, when you smoke weed, right, and you get high in general, it makes you say things and do things that once you're conscious back, you don't remember or even think that you did those things, but you didn't. So, I don't think it's about the ethnicity of people. I think it's about the weed itself. It's not about the people that you smoke with, but it's about the weed itself.
Put a carrot in a black dude's ass, a nigga will kill you when he wakes up for some shit like that. That is an automatic death sentence on the street. It's a rap for you. I'm gonna kill that motherfucker. I thought y'all was friends, baby. What happened? I fell asleep at his house, right? We was drinking, and I fell asleep at his house, and while I was sleeping, right? I'm just gonna kill that motherfucker, all right? That's all you need to know. Fuck carrots. But everybody's getting along. I see that shit. I see it all around. Blacks and whites don't fight so much. You know who don't have no beef with anybody is Asian people. I see how y'all be doing. Y'all just laying the cut. Only people Asian people beef with is other Asian people. Like if you call a Korean guy Chinese, I've done this. They'll flip out. Hey! What makes you think I'm Chinese? I am Korean. I look Chinese. Yes, motherfucker, you do look Chinese. That's why I said it. It's an accident. They put an untrained eye, you all look Chinese to me. It's a mistake. I'm not trying to offend you. Some people say all black people look alike. We don't get bent out of shape. We normally just call those people police. Okay? Just learn to live with it. That's all I can tell you. Everybody's afraid of police. Scared to death of these police. I am, nigga. I got a police scanner. First money I got, this is the first shit I went out, bought me a police scanner. I just listen to these motherfuckers before I go out, just to make sure everything's cool. You hear shit on me.
Calling on cars, being a little guy for a black male between 4'7" and 6'8".
Staying in the crib tonight, fuck that. Gotta work on that alibi for a minute. Every black person needs an alibi. I do them impromptu joints. If I'm by myself and need a house, I just open up the windows in the apartment, turn all the lights on, start beating off right in the window. Look at me! Hey, everybody look, it's me, Dave Chappelle, crazy, I'm jerking off. Note the time, motherfuckers, it's 2:35. Look at me, I'm jerking off the window, 2:35. Comedian Dave Chappelle, it's June 10th. Note the time. That shit could save my life.
Officer Dave Chappelle couldn't have done that. I saw him in his window masturbating from 2:35 to 2:37. I'm certain of it. He was standing on a clock and holding a calendar and today's paper.
Fuck, I need an alibi. I can't be no celebrity. This shit is just the worst. I'm seeing it. I see why stars are crazy, man. These motherfuckers. I went to Disney World with my kids, which is a big deal for me. I don't get to see my kids so much. I do Chappelle show 20 hours a day, sleep for like half an hour, raise my kids for 10, 20 minutes, and I go back to work. Now, this particular day, I got to hook up the kids. We went to Disney World. Everybody at the park. Fucking everybody. Hey! Rick James, bitch! Hey, I'm Rick James, bitch! It's like, hey, man, hey. You mind not calling me a bitch in front of my kids? Time out, motherfucker. We take a day off. Even Mickey Mouse did it. I said, this is the most unprofessional shit I have ever seen in my life. Rick James, bitch.
I was fed up. I caught that motherfucker with an uppercut. Pop! Knocked his head clean off. Everybody was screaming. Oh my God! Oh my God! Mickey Mouse is Mexican!
Dave Chappelle, what do you mean by that part, the part that say Mickey Mouse is Mexican though? I mean, when it comes to ethnicities, it's now that people can differentiate between Asians. Even white people couldn't differentiate between black people. You know, back in the days it was pretty difficult to differentiate between different races of people. It is now that people can differentiate, so it's pretty normal to mistake a Thai person for a Chinese person, Korean for a Thai for a Japanese, so it's pretty normal on that part, you know.
I had a terrible time in Disney World. Disney World is like a whole nother country anyway. They got their own currency. That shit is ridiculous. As soon as I check in the hotels, welcome to Disney World, Mr. Chappelle. Can we interest you in some Disney dollars? Nah, man, I'm cool. Can't buy weed and pussy with Disney dollars, man. I'm on vacation. I like them greenbacks. You know what I'm saying? It's the kind of money people spend. People are very particular about that. I saw that. That was one of the main stories from the war. It was the first big thing we did where they said, now that Iraq has been liberated, we have managed to take Saddam Hussein's face off them.
You know, America has a racial hot seat. I think we can all agree that that's the truth. And we can also agree that that hot seat is traditionally occupied by African Americans in general, African American men in particular. Although I can see that in recent years, that seat has been occupied by Mexicans, and I dare say Arabs. And we, the black Americans, would like to thank you both for your sacrifice and your struggle. We needed a break. We all go through something, but at least I can leave my backpack someplace. If you Arab and forget your backpack, you got about 20 minutes before they send that robot to blow your shit up. You can kiss all that engineering homework goodbye, Fuhad.
Yo, easily. I said this earlier, Heather B. If Michael Jordan defined the era in basketball, so does he when it comes to comedy and social commentary in my book. I actually see myself in what I do as I see him and what he does.
Wow.
I think we're cut from the same cloth, children of this culture, hip-hop culture, for a long time, not allowing ourselves to be pigeonholed and be marginalized. And he's shown us that art doesn't have to have limitations. A very educated man comes from an educated background and made us laugh at things that make us sad and make us sad about things we once laughed about. Constantly entertaining. But I think something that stands out about this man that I most not only took note of, but also been inspired by and let me know that, man, I think I could do this without compromising myself or compromising my integrity. When that man walked away from all that money, you know, to stand up for something he believed, bigger than the money, because the money came back, you know, triple fold probably by now. Netflix got off a lot of money to him. So he made back that deficit. But he showed us that you do not have to sell out what you believe in your beliefs in order to be successful at what it is you're trying to do. For that, I commend you. Not just the jokes, not just the movies, not just, you know, the events. But for that, I really commend you. The one and only Dave Chappelle is here.
Thank you, bro. Oh, my God.
That was amazing, bro.
That was maybe the nicest thing that I've ever heard somebody say about me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
man.
It was like, I hope my eulogy said good.
Yeah, man, I'm here for you if you need it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And with them is Donnell Rawlings.
I'm not even going to go there. I know it's all about Dave, but I timed that intro.
Yes.
The times I've been here saying, y'all know him, he don't use lotion. Ashley, okay, going to a break.
Yo, but man, look who you brought with you, man. Can you introduce Frederick?
Oh yeah, this is Frederick Yane.
Yes.
Fred, arguably the best harmonica player on earth. I'm gonna say.
Dude, did you bring the harmonica? Man, dude, just real quick, Dave. You don't mind if we do this?
No,
right?
yeah. He's got bars. He's got bars.
You don't gotta move. I gotta move.
Yeah.
You don't have to move.
Oh, you do something, man. And he's the one that plays in your opening, right?
No.
That's not that?
No, Fred. I met Fred. He's my publicist's husband.
Oh shit!
And he just happens to be like wildly nice on the harmonica. We just did a movie together too.
What was the movie? Can't talk about it. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They just flagged you. They just flagged you. Don't say it. Don't say it. All right. Well, you know what? Hold on for a second. Okay. Hold on, Donnell. I don't want Donnell to get pissed off.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
So how you been, Dave?
Yo, Sway, I'm in a very good place in my life right now.
Okay.
Largely in part about what you were talking about in the intro. Like everything worked out. The parable of Dave Chappelle, at least temporarily, has a happy ending.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for me, but it's important for everybody that was following what happened to me. I'm very glad that this Netflix thing worked out. And I've been bawling.
You've been balling.
Yeah, I've been having a swell time.
How does because you weren't always balling.
No, I was budget balling.
You was budget balling, and now you balling. How is this newfound success in financial success? How has that changed how you think about money and finances?
Well, the best thing I think money has done for me is giving me a false sense of security. But a false sense of security is better than no sense of security.
Yeah.
It just feels good not to worry about money. So I'm enjoying that. It's an amazing gift to my life. And I don't know, I don't know what could happen tomorrow, but I enjoy today and see how it goes.
I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at guys like Kevin Hart and guys like Marlon Wayans, and there's comedians up on our show every week. I love giving comedians like this platform, and it seemed like it's another explosion happening with comedy. Can y'all tell the difference?
Yeah, I think well, you go ahead, Donnell. What do you?
I think everything at a certain time things switch over. I think maybe like every 10 years. You know what I mean? You get used to something, you get tired of it, and then something that's new on the horizon comes on, and it shocks everybody. The Dave Chappelle show, Dave Chappelle was a phenom, continued to be a phenom. Kevin Hart right now is a phenom, continued to be a phenom. But one thing I can say, and I mean not just because he's a colleague and my boss, whatever, but it's you can be hot for a second, but to maintain relevance in this business and speaking, this is in regard to Dave, 30 years in the business.
Wow.
and still to be able to entertain people that's older, young, and everything, that's the testament of like what you said at the beginning of it, like what he's done for comedy. And I'm proud to call him my friend and my boss on certain occasions.
Oh,
You're
thanks,
sucking
bro.
a lot of dick right there.
Oh, God.
You know
Man,
what?
I've never heard you sound like that.
You know what? And you know
My
what? And you
God.
know what? And you know what? There's some, no, figuratively speaking, there's some truth behind that, because you see me come up here a million times and you've never heard me talk about anybody like that. So if the listeners want to
you
say,
don't even talk about Dave when you come up here.
are you speaking of that? Heather B don't even dress like this when I come on the show. And speaking of Heather B, ain't even supposed to be here today. Speaking of that, you know what I'm saying?
Good point.
So,
Yo, honestly,
when we talk about
I called Heather and said Dave might come through tomorrow.
It-
Heather's on vacation, Dave.
Are you? Oh, that's dope.
She came. Yeah.
And it's so funny because yesterday she'll call me every once in a while for cooking advice and stuff like that, right?
What?
And it's always like, what grease should I use to fry this? You know what I'm saying? And she just, it was a regular conversation. I was like, so what, you trying to decide on what you're going to wear because of tomorrow? She didn't know what I was talking about. So that's my girl. I'm glad she broke her vacation and come up here today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hey.
But to answer the original question, there is a comedy explosion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. I mean,
You know what I think it is, though? Partially, I think that everybody is so disconnected or buried in their phones that one of the reasons comedy is top genre is because of how we engage the audience.
Okay.
It's a very confrontational art form. You know, it's all up in your face.
Yeah.
You gotta listen. You gotta look. You know, you have an actual rapport. It feels nice to be in a comedy club and feel something.
Yeah. You. One of the things we found interesting because we came and saw you. Where were we down there? When we
Toronto.
in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we came and saw you in Toronto, Heather, and I was at that show.
Oh, that was fun.
That was a dope ass show. And the first thing they do is they take your phones. You know,
that's the new shit.
At his shows.
Yeah, at his show, you can't have a phone, and they locked it up. That's the first time. Did you come up with that?
I started working with this company Yonder, and it maybe saved my career. Because basically, you know, comedians, we need the element of surprise, and you also need a sense of security that you can make a mistake. You know, a lot of comedians been hitting the wall. Bill Maher wrecked the other week, and Kathy, you know, motherfuckers wreck. It's part of the genre, though. Like you don't want comedians to not take chances in this new world of precision, of social precision, where everyone's talking and living like fucking politicians. I'm not running for anything, nigga. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say. And sometimes I'll be wrong, and many times I'll be right. But you have to have the freedom to do it. So I lock people's phones up because it empowers me to do a better show and to be more honest and not just precise.
Be more honest and not just precise. You mentioned Kathy Griffith. She hit a wall when she held the president's head up, and Bill Maher.
Which was a rough one.
That was a rough one. That was
one.
difficult for everybody.
Not for everybody.
Not by, well, a lot of people. Bill Maher got too comfortable and said he was a house nigga, right?
Right.
But you apologized for what you, well, not apologized, but took back what you said on SNL about President Trump. That's the kind of reverse wall.
I did it. But that was just like, you know, it was taken out of context.
Okay.
I didn't jest. I think what I said on Saturday Night Live was exactly what needed to be said at that time.
Okay.
And that there was no recourse. This motherfucker is a duly elected president. You can march up the street all night. That's how the system works. And our person didn't win this time. So be it. You still want the president of the United States to do a good job. But he's clearly having a rough go of it. and I made mention of that at another show, and I said it in front of a crowd of people that I'm sure many of them probably know him personally. Some of them probably donated money to his campaign. They were caked up, but you know, I didn't actually apologize for saying that. It was funny. I was like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. It was a funny thing to say. But it's not the exact sentiment I feel.
That's an apology. Wasn't an apology.
Wasn't an apology.
House, wait!
Greatest moment in radio, by the way. Greatest moment in radio.
I had that locked for like ever, dog.
That was the greatest moment in radio.
Greatest moment in radio.
Yeah.
You like that day?
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
What did you like about it?
Well, Kanye did this thing where he had like a slow boil. And I like while you were talking, you could see Ye boiling, and it was, which was endearing. And then you could see that frustration. It was a very honest moment. And then you guys flared up for a second, and then everyone remembered that everything was going to be okay. It was just it had a very complete arc to it. It was
magic.
Wildly. That's exactly what you want to have happen on the radio.
Sure. Well, I'm glad, man, and I'm glad we can entertain you, man.
Yo, man, your show was great. You know, there's a kid. I live in Ohio. There's this kid. Every day I see him, you know, all he wants to do is rap. It's all he talks about. It's all he dreams about. He makes these beats. I actually used one of his beats in one of my specials, but then I cut it out.
I'm dying.
Why you cut it out?
Just because you know I couldn't clear. He had a sample in there that was expensive to clear, and you know, there's some technical shit. But the kid's like an earnest kid. I like when he's around because he really loves hip hop music, and he looks up to people like you like a giant. And he drove to Detroit, and you let him freestyle on the radio.
Oh shit!
Yeah. And it was one of the proudest moments of his life. And then Kweli ended up doing a song with him.
Wow. So it went full circle.
Yeah, it was real nice. Anyway, you know, you do that one morning for somebody and you'll forget about it, but you don't understand that this guy, you know, this was like a pinnacle of his current repertoire of achievements.
Wow. Like
just being around you, around me. Like the things that you do for people, the things that you do for culture. You know, like I see some of my opening acts like Donnell, like Ali Wong, she blew up off this. Now I'll be opening for her. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it makes me feel proud to see, like, it's people coming up. Well, I forgot why I brought that up.
No, but I liked it because it sounds good to me. All right. Well, people feel the same about a similar way about you. We had Chris Rock up here. And we do this thing called Battle of the Best, and we have the guests put their name in the bag and say who you think is better, and then your name came up, and this is what Chris Rock had to say.
Yo, man, the only man that puts fear in my heart on stage is Dave motherfucking Chappelle.
Wow, that's big coming from you. Thanks, Chris.
Put fear in your heart.
I'm like, all right. I still might have to take him out, but my adrenaline's going.
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle's a beast.
Wow, man,
That's
crazy, and it's funny. I think he's gonna actually take you out on August the 5th, right?
the 5th and the 6th.
In the 6th. But how does that make you feel to have, like, who is it that you would, like, be apprehensive about going on before or after?
I don't know. Evil Knievel or some shit. But every once in a while you'll be backstage. Yeah, sometimes Donnell be on stage and he'll open the show and I'll hear the crowd screaming. I'm like, God damn. Like, I remember in Atlanta the other week, every night he got a standing ovation. And I would tell him, if they stand up tonight, you're fired. And I see him walk that tight. We was just fucking around, but it was like, it's fun though. Like when a comedian does real well in front of you, it's still like a fun. It's not even competitive's not the right word, but it's exciting to see a guy or girl go up there and rip it, and then you got you got to go on after them. And can you do it? It gets less suspenseful as the years go on. You know what I mean? So, but any given night, your number could be up, and every once in a while, there's a crowd that has your number, or your bag of tricks doesn't work. But most of the time, if they buy a ticket, they want it to work, and they're with you. And you just got to bring it all to fruition.
I know me, as far as a comic coming to D.C., and there's a lot of great comics coming out of D.C., we used to pride ourselves on that, and that's how you got your name. It's
that's
like,
very true.
You know, like you would be on the open mic list. When I first started, people were like, oh, yeah, we're going to put you behind so-and-so and see how you do. But you felt good knowing that you would be challenged to take your game to the next level. It's the same thing like with boxing, whatever. You know, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes with his sparring partner.
Who was the first guy that blew you off the stage?
I don't think I ever got blown off the stage.
Oh, wow. He's conceited. He's conceited.
No, I felt some heat. In D.C., at that time, you'd already left, but Teddy Carpenter was one of those acts Teddy Carpenter's one of those dudes that would like really bring it to you. I've took some L's.
I'll tell you who got me. Remember Chris Thomas?
Yeah.
Destroyed me. I'd only done stand-up like 4 times. And they were like, we're going to put, Chris Thomas by this time must have been doing stand-up like, what?
42 years.
Yeah. Like,
he's 100 now, not joking.
Yeah, he been doing it, man. And they were like, Dave, we're going to put Chris up next. And then the MC literally goes, you can go home if you like.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I'm staying. I bombed. It was the worst. I dry mouth bombed. You ever get bombed so bad that you get thirsty?
Part of that was probably, but you were like, I think part of that is because you were like a young comic. You didn't have the experience of knowing how to transfer that energy from one comic to the next.
Exactly. It was a lack of experience. So cut to like years later, this is when we were all doing like Def Comedy Jam tours. And we were at Madison Square Garden. The show was Chris Thomas, Chris Tucker, and they made me close. Man, I murked that shit.
Yeah, but you was ready then.
That was my Karate Kid tournament night where I was like,
I do remember it wasn't a comedian, but years ago they had a show called Apollo Comedy Hour, and at that time the comedians, they didn't really care about they weren't that important. Like the comedians, they would put them on any slot. So it was a day where they had turned the audience over 3 times to just change the seats, and they kept pushing me back. I was probably only doing comedy for 5 months, and then it was like, we got a special guest. Biz Markie came in.
oh, dope.
Biz Markie came in and just did a guest spot. Biz Markie came in destroyed the room, and it was so funny because people was leaving after he left. It was like, we got this new comedian from DC, right? I was like, y'all not gonna do this to me, and because I knew that you couldn't curse, right? My first 2 minutes like, fuck this shit, don't tape this shit, don't, and it was it. But Biz Monkey blew me out the water.
A rapper took you down.
Yeah, took me down hard.
Dave did that to me.
Oh,
Me?
You.
Where?
Donnell Rawlins invited me
Why
to
you had to
a
say
tape
my
because
whole
it
name?
was you.
All right.
Donnell
like
Rawlins
a police
invited
officer.
me to a taping of the Chappelle Show. Donnell and I were working together with Ricky Lake. I go down there. He said, "Yo, we doing a taping tonight. I'm opening up." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Dave Chappelle since." Dave actually came to the first season taping a Real World reunion with a comedian named Dave. He was
That's
there
right.
in the hotel
That's
with
right.
hanging out, had a good time. I was like, "Oh my gosh, he may remember me." So I go and I'm sitting in the audience. Dave comes out and was like, "Oh shit, Heather B. All Glocks down. Let's battle right now." And I look, and this heat, fuck a dry mouth, the heat came over my body. He was like, "Lock the doors. You're not leaving until we freestyle on stage." And I was just like, no, he's like, "You sucker MC." I was like,
yo.
I said, "Oh shit." Yo, I felt you suck, Dave. I
We
mean,
have a good time, you know? We have a good time.
he did that to me.
That was, we have fun, man.
It was fun.
I miss doing the show sometimes. I don't know that I could ever do it again. So like the hours, and then the context is so different
The
now.
difference. Like since back then, the world's changed, right?
Yeah. There was no smartphones then.
Yeah.
I remember after I quit my show, and I was in San Francisco, and someone just gave me tickets to Macworld, and I sat in the front. I was by myself, and I watched Steve Jobs introduce the iPhone. And had I known what he was doing, I would stuck a pencil in his chest and tried to save humanity.
That's real.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I mean, the world is a totally different place.
Yeah.
And as the phones get bigger, we all get dumber. I haven't read a book in years, yet I consume itty bitty hors d'oeuvres of information all day, every day.
Yeah.
Everything, like every few minutes, I know what Trump's doing. I fucking hate this world like this.
Yeah.
It's just too much information.
Too much information. You commented on Key and Peele. I know it was.
I did do that.
You did do that. Have you seen them since?
No, but I'll tell you this, and I've said this publicly. I'm not mad at them, like at all. That was more a jab at the network. Because I know what I fought to do with Chappelle's show. I know how they resisted the formula that ultimately became the show, and then I watched them parcel it out to all kinds of different comedians. We'll try with this one, we'll try with that one. You know, they did everything but what I think was what could have been correct, what could have got me back. So, but it's not a slight against them. As a matter of fact, Jordan Peele's movie is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, Get Out.
Yeah, I love that movie. And Donnell, you were my witness. I have a Get Out party. I did. We got a movie. We rented a movie theater. We got Get Out. We put a PA system in there, and we heckled the movie like Mystery Science Theater 3000. And it was great. I mean, you know, everybody was shit-faced. It was real late at night. It was after the show, and it was really fun. And it's why I would go to the movies to see that shit like that. So I like the work that they do, and I respect the work they do. I respect them.
Would you work with them if the situation was right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the situation was right, I'd do all kinds of shit.
Okay. Shit. We can make it pop.
I wanted to ask because we've seen people get upset at these rappers who don't respect the people that came before them. You know, they're
Which
like,
man went on bad booty?
That's DB right there, man.
Yo.
What man went on bad booty?
no, but we've seen people like Lil Yachty who said he didn't care about Biggie because he didn't grow up with him, or Kodak Black who said he was better than Tupac and Biggie. But if a comedian said that, would you feel the same way that they needed to respect? You know, if somebody said I'm better than Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy isn't that great?
No, I don't care about that. You know why? Because I know comedy's a weird genre. I know deep down every comedian thinks that comedy is all about them. Every single one of them. For a comedian to stand in the back of the room and watch another comedian, it's almost like watching somebody fuck your girlfriend. And you like, yo, I fuck her better. You're not doing it right. It's awful. They get jealous. You'll hear people hate on like a guy like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is a wonderful person. There's nothing wrong with him. But guys feed themselves this kind of gunpowder because, it takes so much. Comedians are insecure people a lot of times, socially awkward people a lot of times. A lot of those guys are fucking miserable dudes. And they need to believe that. And some of them vocalize it, some of them don't. But many of them feel that way.
And I'll follow you on that. But like you say, watching the comic from the back of the room, like I consider myself to be a dope comic. It's a handful of comics that I watch that inspire me to want to dig deeper. When I watch you perform, I'm like, I'm a funny dude. I'm like, but I ask myself, what makes Dave Chappelle Dave Chappelle? And I said this before, and like everybody don't have a Muhammad Ali moment. And when I say that, Muhammad Ali, one thing that made him one of the greatest is when he stood up against, he didn't agree with the war. He said he wouldn't do it. Your situation with Comedy Central, like people that have those Muhammad Ali moments, I admire. When I watch you perform, it's never no jealousy, it's no envy. I'm like, this dude, like the way you sit in the pocket and wait for the joke. Some comedians, like, if they not laughing at the moment, like sometimes you'll sit in the pocket and the payoff is big. Like, I watch you, and Sway might say that I'm riding your dick right now.
It's a little hard, though. But I was going to say, God damn, I almost nutted.
I mean, damn, do I got to say no homo first before I say this?
Pause, all that.
No, but I'm saying,
I mean, your voice changes? Yeah, you don't even like, you speaking at a higher octave?
No, but I'm just saying and I do. Going back on your question, like, I think, like, you have these youngins that's coming up right now. I think you should pay a certain amount of respect for the people that have paved the way. You ain't got to be on a dick where you don't want to be better than them or whatever, but being disrespectful and talking against them, I think that's fucked up. Because everybody starts somewhere, and if it wasn't for some of the doors that those people open up, you wouldn't have the opportunities.
Well, I mean that's true, but I'm just saying, like, I've heard comedians like say I'm the best, and I'll just be in the back like, well, I disagree with that.
Yeah,
but I understand why you feel that way. And the other thing is about those Muhammad Ali moments, as I don't recommend them. they're wildly uncomfortable moments. Like, it's like, everybody wants to be great, but the idea is that you gotta give something up, man. It hurts. Right. Like, you gotta let go of that salt, buddy. So
yeah. You made it though, Dave. You survived it.
Yeah. Thank God.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shea 45. Kilo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle.
Thank you. Oh, boy, I'm very nervous. No pressure. During the Civil Rights Movement, I can't read what's on the teleprompter. Some about black America and white America. There's black Americans and there's white Americans. We're all one America. So if you don't mind, this is not live, is it? I imagine whatever I say, you could just edit it out. Let's try it a few ways. Lou, are you in the booth? I am. All right, good. You know what, Lou? Let's just play around with it and see if we can get it right and get this clip package on, and then let me go home. All right? You got it. All right. Ready. All right. Count me in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wu-Tang. I'm just with you, Lou. Let's do it again. We're gonna do it again. We'll get it right.
Here we go, Dave. 5, 4, 3, 2.
You know, when I was a comedian starting out in Washington, D.C., right here in this city. 1988, I'll never forget this. It was a comedy club owner that banned profanity from his comedy club. He said it offended his audience, and this was a cause of major concern for all the comedians in the circuit. And we all called a meeting, and we had the owners come, and it was the club owners, and it was the comedians. It was the classic labor dispute. The club owners laid out their case. There cannot be profanity in these clubs because that offends people. And there's a comedian who's still a good friend of mine to this day. He lives right here in Washington, D.C. He stood up and he said, he's black, I should tell you because it's important to the story. He says, I use profanity because I live a profane lifestyle. He says, I don't have an insect infestation in my house. I have roaches. My favorite comedians are like musicians, and the audience is their instrument. And the music they make is your laughter. And that's the laughter that I scored my entire life to. So now, some of my favorite American comedic composers. Thank you.
When I lose my job, I lose my man. Treat me like a dog. He called me a dog. Yes, he did. What did he call me? An old dog. Sometimes I wished I was a dog and he was a tree.
When you stop and think, football's a fair sport for my people. Only sport in the world, a Negro can chase a white man and 40,000 people stand up and cheer him.
See, in my neighborhood, the kids have a kind of a dubious reaction to that whole Santa Claus concept. They just don't believe that a white man will ride a reindeer through Harlem after midnight.
In truth, white friend, it's you that all look alike. But look at the black people around you. We're all different colors. Black walnut, burnt almond, chocolate mocha, pecan, vanilla, yellow, mellow, light, bright, and damn near white.
We come from the first people on the earth. You know, the first people on the earth were black people. We the first people had thought, right? We was the first one to say, where the am I? And how do you get to Detroit?
I think maybe like 30 years ago, there was a woman that wanted to sing, and a black lady that sang opera that wanted to sing. What was her name? Mary Anderson. And this place was like segregated, and they couldn't sing here. And here we are, like not even 50 years later, a 22-year-old black man on stage getting paid to hold his.
God bless America. I gotta go now. Y'all take it easy. Bye-bye.
Janelle Monáe, Will Smith, Common, Gladys Knight, and John Legend when we continue.
Yeah, man. Well, you ladies are right. To be honest with you, your lives look terrifying to me. They do, man. I know nothing about being a woman, but I know fear. Yo, I used to live in New York when I was 17, and I couldn't even pay my bills. You know what I did to make money? I used to do shows for drug dealers that wanted to clean their money up. And one time I did a real good set, and these motherfuckers called me in the back room. They gave me $25,000 in cash. I was probably 18, 19 years old. I was scared. I thanked them profusely. I put that money in my backpack. I jumped on the subway and started heading towards Brooklyn at 1 o'clock in the morning. Never been that terrified in my life. Because I never in my life had something that somebody else would want. I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, if motherfuckers knew how much money I had in this backpack, they'd kill me for it. And then I thought, holy shit. What if I had a pussy on me all the time? That's what women are dealing with. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's real talk. If them same drug dealers gave me a pussy and said, put this in your backpack and take it to Brooklyn, I'd be like, nigga, I can't accept this. I empathize, man, you know. Everybody gets mad because I say these jokes. But you understand that this is the best time to say them. More now than ever. And I know there's some comedians in the back. Motherfucker, you have a responsibility to speak recklessly. Otherwise... New York Times said that Louis C.K. jizzed on his own stomach. You know, I've busted a lot of nuts in my day. None of them were newsworthy. Shit was really gross, because they didn't just say it like I said it. They didn't just say jizz on the stomach. They said it in that fucking Pulitzer Prize-winning style that the New York Times has. It was very descriptive, like, you know what I mean? Louis C.K.'s semen shot out like a volcano of misogyny, slowly drizzling down like lava, covering his freckled penis as it slowly dripped to a fiery crown of red hair. Jesus Christ, I'm trying to eat some huevos rancheros, and these niggas is... And you know, the tough part, being a comedian, knowing the motherfuckers, everybody comes up to me like, did you know? Did you know what Louis was doing? No, bitch, I did not know. The fuck you think we talk about at the comedy club? Hey, nigga, how was the weekend? Great, man. I was just jerking off in faces and coming on my own stomach, having a good time. You know how this business is. No, I didn't know. They act like we sit around like Grease. Tell me more, tell me more. Then she put up a fight. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I don't know the choreography, but you get the point. You get the point. She was intense. But Louis was like the turning point. I mean, you know, all these allegations are terrible. Louis was the only... I shouldn't say this, but fuck it. His allegation was the only one that made me, like, laugh. Well, if you think about it, because all his friends is reading it, and he's jerking off, and he's surprising people. He's surprising me. I just picture all the comics in comedy just reading it like, what? It's terrible. I know it's terrible. I'm sorry, ladies. You're right. You are right. But at the same time, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. Jesus Christ, they took everything from Louis. I was like, I don't know, it might be disproportionate. I can't tell. I can't tell. This is like where it's hard to be a man. One lady said, Louis C.K. masturbating in front of me ruined my comedy dreams. Word? Well, then I dare say, madam, you may have never had a dream. Come on, man, that's a brittle spirit. That is a brittle-ass spirit, nigga. That shit is too much. It's a grown-ass woman. You know what this shit is like? It's like COINTELPRO. You know what that is? It's a program that the FBI had on J. Edgar Hoover. In this program, one of the many things they did was they would track the sexual habits of anyone they considered an enemy of the state. It was a lip button. That's why they got all these fucking sex tapes with Martin Luther King fucking bitches. But lucky for us, he actually had a dream. You think if Louis C.K. jerked off in front of Dr. King, he'd be like, I can't continue this movement. I'm sorry, but the freedom of black people must be stopped. I didn't know this nigga was gonna pull his dick out and jerk off like this. I just thought we were gonna get a couple of drinks and chill. Show business is just harder than that. Them women sounded like, I hate to say it, y'all, they sounded weak. I know it sounds fucked up, I'm not supposed to say that, but one of these ladies was like, Louis C.K. was masturbating while I was on the phone with him. Bitch, you don't know how to hang up a phone? How the fuck are you going to survive in show business if this is an actual obstacle to your dreams? I know Louis is wrong, ma'am. I'm just saying I'm held to a higher standard of accountability than these women are. Don't forget who I am. Don't forget what I am. I am a black dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle.
Thank you. Oh boy, I'm very nervous. No pressure. During the civil rights movement, I can't read what's on the teleprompter. Some about black America and white America. There's black Americans and there's white Americans. We're all one America. So if you don't mind, this is not live, is it? I imagine whatever I say, you could just edit it out. Let's try it a few ways. Lou, are you in the booth?
I am.
All right, good. You know what, Lou? Let's just play around with it and see if we can get it right and get this clip package on, and then let me go home. All right?
You got it.
All right.
Ready?
All right. Count me in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wu-Tang. I'm just with you, Lou. Let's do it again. We're gonna do it again. We'll get it right.
Here we go, Dave. 5, 4, 3, 2.
You know, when I was a comedian starting out in Washington, D.C., right here in this city, 1988, I'll never forget this. It was a comedy club owner that banned profanity from his comedy club. He said it offended his audience, and this was a cause of major concern for all the comedians in the circuit. And we all called a meeting, and we had the owners come, and it was the club owners, and it was the comedians. It was the classic labor dispute. The club owners laid out their case. There cannot be profanity in these clubs because that offends people. And there's a comedian who's still a good friend of mine to this day. He lives right here in Washington, D.C. He stood up and he said, he's black, I should tell you because it's important to the story. He says, I use profanity because I live a profane lifestyle. He says, I don't have an insect infestation in my house. I have roaches. My favorite comedians are like musicians, and the audience is their instrument. And the music they make is your laughter. And that's the laughter that I scored my entire life to. So now, some of my favorite American comedic composers. Thank you.
When I lose my job, I lose my man. Treat me like a dog. He called me a dog. Yes, he did. What did he call me? An old dog. Sometimes I wished I was a dog and he was a tree.
When you stop and think, football's a fair sport for my people. Only sport in the world a Negro can chase a white man and 40,000 people stand up and cheer him.
See, in my neighborhood, the kids have a kind of a dubious reaction to that whole Santa Claus concept. They just don't believe that a white man will ride a reindeer through Harlem after midnight.
In truth, white friend, it's you that all look alike. But look at the black people around you. We're all different colors. Black walnut, burnt almond, chocolate mocha, pecan, vanilla, yellow, mellow, light, bright, and damn near white.
We come from the first people on the earth. You know, the first people on the earth were black people. We the first people had thought, right? We was the first one to say,
where am I? And how do you get to Detroit?
I think maybe like 30 years ago, there was a woman that wanted to sing, and a black lady that sang opera that wanted to sing. What was her name? Mary Anderson. And this place was like segregated, and they couldn't sing here. And here we are, like not even 50 years later, a 22-year-old black man on stage getting paid to hold his.
God bless America. I gotta go now. Y'all take it easy. Bye-bye.
Janelle Monáe Will Smith, Common, Gladys Knight, and John Legend when we continue.
Yeah, man. Well, you ladies are right. To be honest with you, your lives look terrifying to me. They do, man. I know nothing about being a woman, but I know fear. Yo, I used to live in New York when I was 17, and I couldn't even pay my bills. You know what I did to make money? I used to do shows for drug dealers that wanted to clean their money up. And one time I did a real good set, and these motherfuckers called me in the back room. They gave me $25,000 in cash. I was probably 18, 19 years old. I was scared. I thanked them profusely. I put that money in my backpack. I jumped on the subway and started heading towards Brooklyn at 1 o'clock in the morning. Never been that terrified in my life. Because I never in my life had something that somebody else would want. I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, if motherfuckers knew how much money I had in this backpack, they'd kill me for it. And then I thought, holy shit. What if I had a pussy on me all the time? That's what women are dealing with. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's real talk. If them same drug dealers gave me a pussy and said, put this in your backpack and take it to Brooklyn, I'd be like, nigga, I can't accept this. I empathize, man, you know. Everybody gets mad because I say these jokes. But you understand that this is the best time to say them. More now than ever. And I know there's some comedians in the back. Motherfucker, you have a responsibility to speak recklessly. Otherwise... New York Times said that Louis C.K. jizzed on his own stomach. You know, I've busted a lot of nuts in my day. None of them were newsworthy. Shit was really gross, because they didn't just say it like I said it. They didn't just say jizz on the stomach. They said it in that fucking Pulitzer Prize winning style that the New York Times has. It was very descriptive, like, you know what I mean? Louis C.K.'s semen shot out like a volcano of misogyny, slowly drizzling down like lava, covering his freckled penis as it slowly dripped to a fiery crown of red hair. Jesus Christ, I'm trying to eat some huevos rancheros and these niggas is... And you know, the tough part, being a comedian, knowing the motherfuckers, everybody comes up to me like, did you know? Did you know what Louis was doing? No, bitch, I did not know. The fuck you think we talk about at the comedy club? Hey, nigga, how was the weekend? Great, man. I was just jerking off in faces and coming on my own stomach, having a good time. You know how this business is. No, I didn't know. They act like we sit around like Grease. Tell me more, tell me more. Then she put up a fight. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I don't know the choreography, but you get the point. You get the point. She was intense. But Louis was like the turning point. I mean, you know, all these allegations are terrible. Louis was the only... I shouldn't say this, but fuck it. His allegation was the only one that made me, like, laugh. Well, if you think about it, because all his friends is reading it, and he's jerking off, and he's surprising people. He's surprising me. I just picture all the comics in comedy just reading it like, what? It's terrible. I know it's terrible. I'm sorry, ladies. You're right. You are right. But at the same time, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. Jesus Christ, they took everything from Louis. I was like, I don't know, it might be disproportionate. I can't tell. I can't tell. This is like where it's hard to be a man. One lady said, Louis C.K. masturbating in front of me ruined my comedy dreams. Word? Well, then I dare say, madam, you may have never had a dream. Come on, man, that's a brittle spirit. That is a brittle-ass spirit, nigga. That shit is too much. This is a grown-ass woman. You know what this shit is like? It's like COINTELPRO. You know what that is? It's a program that the FBI had under J. Edgar Hoover. In this program, one of the many things they did was they would track the sexual habits of anyone they considered an enemy of the state. It was a lip button. That's why they got all these fucking sex tapes with Martin Luther King fucking bitches. But lucky for us, he actually had a dream. You think if Louis C.K. jerked off in front of Dr. King, he'd be like, I can't continue this movement? I'm sorry, but the freedom of black people must be stopped. I didn't know this nigga was gonna pull his dick out and jerk off like this. I just thought we were gonna get a couple of drinks and chill. Show business is just harder than that. Them women sounding like, I hate to say it, y'all, they sound weak. I know it sounds fucked up, I'm not supposed to say that, but one of these ladies was like, Louis C.K. was masturbating while I was on the phone with him. Bitch, you don't know how to hang up a phone? How the fuck are you going to survive in show business if this is an actual obstacle to your dreams? I know Louis is wrong, ma'am. I'm just saying I'm held to a higher standard of accountability than these women are. Don't forget who I am. Don't forget what I am. I am a black dude.
So, Don, I woke up this morning at 2:45, as always, and went on Twitter, and I saw...
And thanks for the text.
I texted you soon after, but the reason I texted you is because Dave Chappelle released a brand new, unannounced special on Netflix at midnight called 8:46. Obviously, that is the length of time that George Floyd had a knee on his neck and died in the process. Dave Chappelle put out this special. In it, though, he addresses you directly. I mean, really directly. You, on TV a couple weeks ago, called on Hollywood, specifically black Hollywood, to come out, take a stand publicly. And I want to play for you now what Dave Chappelle had to say about that.
And I'm watching Don Lemon, that hotbed of reality. He says, where are all these celebrities? Why aren't you talking? Does it matter about celebrity? No. This is the streets talking for themselves. They don't need me right now. I kept my mouth shut. And I'll still keep my mouth shut. But don't think that my silence is complicit.
I got to say, first of all, I was only able to listen to a little bit more of it. It's fascinating and really deep. And there is irony, Don, in the fact that he's attacking you for calling on celebrities to speak out. And he's doing just that in this special. But what does it feel like to have Dave Chappelle talking about you like that?
Well, Dave Chappelle is my favorite comedian. And I do care what Dave Chappelle says. And I actually, well, first of all, I think now my nieces and nephews will actually give me, some props because they'll think I'm cool now that Dave Chappelle has mentioned my name, and I'm actually honored to be memorialized in a Dave Chappelle special. That's an entire special, so I'm excited about that. But what I will say is that I actually agree with Dave Chappelle. I agree that I think the establishment has been a bit behind, and some of what we created, and I consider myself a part of the establishment because I'm over 40 years old. I think that the young people who are out there in the streets don't really care what we have to say. They think that part of the world that we created, maybe, and what we did, maybe we didn't move fast enough or we weren't strong enough, and so they're out there fighting. They said, listen, we are tired of what's happening. We've tried to do it nicely. We've tried to do it peacefully. We've tried to do all of these things, and you have rejected it. And so I think that they're not only speaking to the white people in this country, but also to all of us as the establishment. And so I agree with him in that way. But I do think that this is a moment, not a moment for modesty. I think it's a moment that we should all be using our platform to do whatever we can. And at least to show those young people and those people out there that we support them. And it doesn't mean taking all of the, all the credit for it or speaking out for them. I think that they can do that on their own. And I think that's exactly right. But I think that they need to know that people like Dave Chappelle, like me, or whoever supports them. And that's all they need to know. But the irony is that his special is called 846. He's talking about this issue. And I think it's great. He's using his platform to talk about this in the way that he can. So, and listen, I'm not beyond reproach or criticism. I actually welcome it. And Dave can come on my show and he can talk about it anytime. I think, especially with this, I think many people have been sort of incredulous about, oh my gosh, somebody criticized me or someone, is challenging me. We should all be challenged. And I actually welcome Dave to criticize me, talk about me, call me, whatever. I think it's a moment where we have two men of color who have two big platforms. We are agreeing or disagreeing with each other and having a discussion, and people are actually paying attention to it. So that's how I feel about that.
There you go. I mean, actually, you can do both. The street can talk loudly, and the people with megaphones can talk loudly. Don?
Allison, listen, what I was saying, the sentiment I have with that is that when you think about Lena Horne and Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee and all of those people who, from the civil rights movement, celebrities, artists should reflect the times, right? Artists should not be behind the times. They should reflect the times. And all of those people stood on their perch and they yelled loudly. Yeah. And I think that those young people need as much support as possible. That's it.
Don, great to talk to you. Great to have your voice on New Day. Thanks so much for waking up and being with us.
Can I go back to bed now?
You may. You may.